Respected Bulu sir, Dr. Savitri, office bearers of Alumni Group, today's resource persons and one of my guru, Professor Rabinarayan Mishra, our senior respected alumni member, Dr. Champeswar Mishra, Mr. Jayant, who runs the show, staying behind the online session, and all audience joined through the YouTube. Good morning to you all. Our alumni members are constant source of encouragement for any activities by Department of Library and Information Science. We had an alumni general body meeting on 22nd September. Encouraging number of participants were present in the meeting. So many suggestions we have received during the meeting. Almost all the alumni members appreciated the ongoing lecture series. Today's topic, future competencies and innovation for sustainable development of libraries, is appropriate in the sense many of our budding professionals and those who have just started their career can visualize their future in the profession. Indeed, it is my pleasure to listen to very experienced professionals today. I will personally learn from them, and I request all of our viewers to raise their queries in the chat box so that it can be more an interactive session. If all questions are not answered during the session, those will be answered by the experts later on as per their convenient time. Our dear Ravi sir is always a source of inspiration to many LIS professionals. He always supports the initiative taken by our alumni association. Same case with Dr. Champeswar Mishra. He always try to attend the alumni meet and supports whatever possible way in his own capacity. Finally, I request all the wonderful audience joined through YouTube to involve yourself in to make the session a more interactive one. And since there is network problem, I think Bulu sir will join when there will be good network in his side. So I request to start the session, and in between we can have some more interaction, and we will have uh, some comment from others. So Savitri Maji is there. Jayant, Dr. Savitri is there.
Yes, I am here. Am I audible?
Okay. Okay, yeah, you are audible, so you can introduce the resource person and we can start the session.
Okay. So, very good morning, all of you. Esteemed Professor B. Maharana, uh, the key person behind this knowledge sharing session, Professor R.M. Mishra, resource person of the day, and alumni of the department, Sri Champeswar Mishra, our second speaker, then President Alumni Association, Sri Premraj Mishra, Technical Coordinator Jayanta, and all the participants joined through YouTube. It's my pleasure to introduce Professor R.M. Mishra, our speaker of this series. Dr. R.M. Mishra is a retired professor and head Department of Library and Information Science, Mizoram Central University. He is presently associated with Sambalpur Public Library, Sambalpur, Odisha. He is the coordinator for certificate course in Digital Library at Odisha State Open University, Sambalpur, and guest faculty and advisor in Department of Library and Information Science at Gangadhar Nehru University, Sambalpur. He is an approved counselor in the Library and Information Science of IGNOU, New Delhi and Odisha State Open University. He has completed more than 33 years in teaching and involved with various academic activities like designing of courses for library information science discipline, Professor Mishra is an eminent academician and researcher, and he is actively involved with various academic and research activities like peer reviewing of few popular journals, organized who attended conferences within the country and abroad, contributed many research papers and books in popular publishing sources. Under his guidance, many scholars have been awarded PhD degree and MPhil degree. He is the life member of many professional organizations such as ILA, ISLIC, DLIS, and Rajasthan Library Association. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, to this knowledge sharing section. And it's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Sri Champeswar Mishra, who is presently working as Deputy Librarian in Tripura University, Agartala, Tripura. He has over 13 years of experience in library and information science with expertise in setting up state-of-the-art libraries. He has pursued PhD from Sambalpur University along with post-graduation and MPhil. He has qualified UGC NET, University Grant Commission, Government of India, Andhra Pradesh State Eligibility Test, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Sri Mishra is an active researcher and published many research papers both in national and international level. He has attended many of conferences within the country and abroad. He was awarded with the Postgrad Fellowship for Developing Country from ALCTS, a division of the American Library Association. Both the speakers are very popular among this family of Department of Library and Information Science. And with this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, to the present series. And first of all, I would like to invite Professor R.N. Mishra for his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maji. So, respected Professor Bulu Maharana, Head Library and Information Science, Dr. Premraj Mishra, President Alumni Association, Dr. Savitri Maji, Dr. Champeswar Mishra, and Jayanta Kumar Sahu, and all the members of the alumni, all teachers, research scholars, students, and library professionals. A very good morning to you all. Thanks to Professor Maharana for giving me a slot in this platform to address the young and vibrant working LIS professionals and prospective professionals. At the outset, I express my reverence and homage to the departed soul, Professor R.K. Raut, Professor K.C. Sahu, Dr. Gayatri Mahapatra, for their innumerable contribution to the department. I also convey my deep sense of gratitude and respect and appreciation to my teacher, Professor B.K. Chaudhary, Professor K.C. Panda, who proved to be the knowledge builder in the profession. My regards goes to Professor Bulu Maharana, the key figure in initiating the idea and action-oriented efforts to promote such a healthy environment in the profession. My appreciation also goes to Dr. Premraj Mishra, the President of the Alumni Association of the department, along with my profound felicity and heartfelt congratulations to the dedicated LAN, professional team of the Librarians Department, Sambalpur University for their unremitting endeavors and bringing webinar series to update the students, professionals, researchers, where the previous speakers have already ventilated very useful presentations on their value-based topics. Thanks to Professor Bulu Maharana for giving me such a platform to express my thoughts, incorporation of new approximations out of the experiences to encourage the young and energetic allies professionals and developing skills and competencies to meet any eventuality in the library. The conceived topic, competency in future librarianship in e-learning issues and challenges, has been chosen due to the altering scenario of library services in view of the unwanted and grievous eruption of COVID-19 pandemic, which emerged with the most unfriendly and unwelcoming atmosphere, resulting in a serious economic and education breakdown including creating a digital divide and perpetuated inequality based on the various social factors like health and healthcare, environment, education, etc. in the society. It has precipitated to an unparalleled switching from traditional and or hybrid to fully digital teaching and services using various virtual platforms and social networking sites. The unprecedented rising of upended the work culture not only in the library but also in teaching, which, however, could be bridged to some extent through online learning and managing remote working using various social networking podiums, as these are the resultant effect which is conceived and developed by the individual or organization or specific group for sharing knowledge, information, exchange of ideas, primarily aiming to development of the society as a whole. To make it adaptive in the present context, the professionals are to ensure that they are conversant with the emerging technology tools and exploit measures the availability of the library resources, including open source resources, digitally to the users, along with the technical support to them for seamless access and use. In this pandemic situation, the libraries across the country and globe have created ingenious solutions to provide services digitally, but due to the internet issues, a significant portion of the end users are deprived of getting the benefits. The COVID-19 pandemic also had a tremendous downward effect in all the sectors of the education, which compelled the government, both state and central, to accelerate the e-learning to bridge the gap. My focus of discussion will be on e-learning, blended learning, and skill and competency development among the professionals. Now, while introducing e-learning, it represents an analogous to technology-based learning, web-based learning, virtual learning, internet-based learning, computer-based learning, digital learning, online learning. Like these, many concepts are there which can be represented as e-learning. It is very much associated with the advanced learning technology, both in technology and associated methodology in learning using network and multimedia technology. It is an artifact or technology that enables support to enhance the human learning emerging from the most recent development available in both the areas. The technology offers for simulations, online labs, and collaboration that support the active learning. Extended domain in ICT platforms to support the education in the knowledge-based society. It reaches the learner from the source, that is the library, without any intervention and route. Now, this e-learning has become most pragmatic in view of the COVID-19, and nowadays, even if it is gaining momentum nowadays, and therefore, scope of the learning as reported by the Online Learning Consortium, previously known as SLOAN Consortium, reached to 6 million in 2017 in US. According to Letterman, the portion of the all students in US who are enrolled exclusively online grew up to 15.4%, and or about one in six students. The share of all students who mixed online in-person courses grew slightly faster. It is also gaining momentum in our India, and both state government and the government of India have initiated many platforms to provide the education, the online education using various social media platforms. Now, what are the government, what type of steps the government has taken? I've given it in the table. The digital extension of the Union Skill Development Ministry provided coursework for 29 courses, e-learning video content 71 courses, and question bank for all 137 trades under craftsmanship, craftsman training center scheme. Government imparted online skill training to 9,38,851 students via Bharat Skill portal during lockdown. Likewise, the Andhra government also had initiated the e-learning in the school. The Andhra Pradesh government also started the online classes using Vidya Bharati to bridge the digital divide. Now, Anganwadi centers in Goa also are going digital in the e-learning. Dr. Rajendra Prasad Central Agriculture University, for the first time, it transformed the total university education in the digital form. The digital AICT relates to 41 e-learning platforms to facilitate students during COVID-19. Now, digital learning in Rajasthan also have taken the same initiative. Now, Mumbai Municipal Corporation has taken up 38 crores project to replace the blackboards with the interactive digital board. The Government of India Center's e-learning program Swam Prabha launched in UP. In Maharashtra, 59.8% of the students have access to smartphone and 57 have internet connectivity, while 30% are using the Diksha application. In Maharashtra, to accept the digital learning, 50.5% have access to online learning materials. 34% is study by digital learning material and TV, followed by 26% through online classes and 10% through radio. Bihar education projects also are going in the same platform. Uttarakhand government also using the Sampark Didi to implement the virtual class. The Karnataka government also has launched the online crash course program Get Set Go to help the student from state to prepare the common entrance test and NET. The Madhya Pradesh University also adopted the e-learning model during the lockdown. In Odisha, for students who have access to internet, WhatsApp group have been formed in which e-content are being provided. Like this, many efforts are being taken up by various governments and state governments and the central government to initiate the e-learning. The ESO in a survey viewed that online classes forced swiftly by COVID-19 pandemic. The ESO means the Associated Chambers for Commerce and Industry of India, that initiated the online classes by COVID-19 pandemic. It brought the opportunity for the digital evolution in the education and transformation. This survey found that 88% of the students has pointed out that the missing out on interaction with their teachers, peer, and friends. And that is obviously, it goes without saying that they are quite away from their physical mode of interaction. As many as 51% students miss their extracurricular activities. Means they are tied to their house, they are tied to their laptops or smartphone like this, and they are interacting with the teaching. This has become imminent challenge among the professionals as the virus observed by the scientists will continue to remain. Hence, what are the objective of the library in this pandemic situation? Revamping the disaster plan, create a pandemic policy, streamlining the digital library services, encourage using the open source, resources, and finding viable means to reach the remotely located library clientels, massive use of technology and digital library software, digitization, and above all, developing competency among the professionals to provide these services. Now, according to a study in the Canadian National Survey of Online and Digital Library, these are the technologies which are being used profusely in online courses. Learning management system, on-demand streamed video lectures, others uses video live online lecture, seminar, mobile technology, social media, like this. Many of the mechanisms are there, many of the technology tools are there which are being used by the different university to provide the online course. Now, according to a Babson survey research group on distance education, enrollment increased from 14th straight year, the most recent year, to addition of 3,37,016 distance education, where 5.6% increase exceeds the gain seen over the past 3 years. 6% of all students now take at least one education course. Distance education are fairly evenly split between those who take the distance and non-distance courses. Public institutions command the largest portion of the digital education students. The enrollment is high rated. The distance enrollment remain local. 52.8% of all students who took at least one distance course. Like this is a report given by the Babson Survey Research Group. Now, what are the associated technologies that are involved in e-learning? Screencast and electronic performance support system and learning management system. Then multimedia CD-ROMs, discussion board, collaborative support software, blogs, text chat, simulation, games, e-portfolios, web-based teaching, learning, hypermedia, website, web 2.0, 3.0, email, wikis, computer-aided assessment, and animation. Here, the most important thing is the EPSS, which is a digital adoption platform that allows multiple software adoption through the interactive guidance, while a learning management system is a hotspot for learning material that can be accessed from the different locations. These are the two primary prime difference between the EPSS and LMS, and both the systems are being used in the electronic learning. Now, while talking about the types of learning, generally we come across with three types, that is synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. The synchronous learning exclusively deals with the direct participation or interaction with the faculty over a classroom which operates in a virtual mode. What exactly we are doing right now? It is like a real-time online classroom where the e-learners and the faculty interact directly. It is instant messaging, chat, audio, video conferencing are some of the examples, and you require different platforms to interact with the teachers and the other persons. In asynchronous mode, it is a web-based where you are just going to put something and later on the student can interact with it. The faculties interact with the e-learners through message board, bulletin board, and discussion forum. But while talking about the blended learning, it's both a mixture of the synchronous and asynchronous. It furnishes instrumental methodology that leverages the technology which provide a more personalized approach to the learning to the student. And in that way now the COVID-19, whenever these teachers are presenting through online classes using various platforms like Google Meet, and others, they are providing the resources accordingly. Now, talking about the properties of e-learning, it's divided into four types: student-student interaction, student-teacher interaction, student resource interaction, and student-computer interaction. Here, one student will interact with the other student and they can exchange the idea, they can exchange the resources. While the student-teacher interaction, the student will ask the question like this, what exactly you are doing right now, and the teacher will answer to them. The student resource interaction, here the library roles used to come. The librarian or the library will provide the resources to the student. In any case of any type of difficulty, the student will ask the librarian and the librarian will provide them the resource. Now, student-computer interaction, it means that whenever the library is providing any resources to the student, the technological support also to be given by the library so that the student can interact or can access the resources. Now, prototype e-learning resources, develop contents, created, converted into machine readable form. These are the jobs of the library, creating the e-resources and I'm to say accumulating the open educational resources from the authentic sites, using online and CD-ROM database, computer storage device, and whenever they need, also they can download the very useful and user-centric resources so that they can provide to the users. And these are the prototype e-learning resources that the library must maintain to it. Now, in the process, we require a digital literacy. It creates a platform of the cooperative learning in a group. It requires for capturing the information in electronic form. It is shareable, exchangeable. It facilitates the learners to interact with the organization. Here, we require the digital literacy needs the application of the visual literacy, cooperative literacy, and academic literacy. These are the very three basic elements of the digital library. It combines with a number of metaphors. What exactly a metaphor? It's a figure it's a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that it's not literally true. Whenever something is going to be expressed in a different way, it is a metaphor or the presentation of the idea. Metaphor is concerned with creating an online learning environment. Visual metaphor adds substantial value in graphical user interface in digital environment. It endows with the learner a podium to put forth the innovative concept along with the grasped idea into a new cognitive synthesis. The learner support system in e-learning. The basic skills are required in the e-learning where the provider will provide the e-learning to them and the recipients, the user, must have the skill to accept the skill or develop the skill to access the resources and study material. So here I would like to make a difference in between the skill and competency. Skill defines a specific learned activities. It is an art which a professional possesses. It helps to determine whether skill gained through the training and experience is applied perfectly in a workplace. That whenever we are going for any type of thing, any training, this and that, we have to get the skill. And the competency, it engulfs the skill that a professional possesses. It is put into action in the work field. It otherwise means that whether he is competent enough to perform the job faultlessly or not. Whatever skill we have gained from the training, from other experience, whether we do have the competency in making it operation. In ICT domain, the skill that a library professional need to acquire the present state is explained through the figure. Now, these are the total ICT skill that a librarian or the library professional must adapt to it, must know to it. And these are the competencies through which, using this skill, the professional will distribute the material and provide the services to the users community. Now, what is the Librarians Initiative? Responsible for maintaining the database, disseminating resource, providing guidance for searching the resource. The planners develop, yes, they have to develop a plan, the technology suitable to the environment. What exactly a reader wants, which type of environment is required to reach to provide the resources so that it can be used by the user. The educator make an aware of the technology to the learner. It's not that the librarian or the professionals will be learning everything. Whatever technology, whatever mechanism they are applying to develop the resources for the user, that technology also to be provided to the user so that seamlessly they can access to the resources. And in the process, the librarian and the professionals, they have to manage the resources, content management, marketing of the products, multimedia products, etc. It requires a dynamic effort. dynamic action among the professionals in selection, evaluating, scaling, describing, annotating, and provide intelligent access to the electronic information in the digital environment. So these are the challenging features that the librarian, the 21st librarian are going to witness. The accessibility of the e-resource around the clock. And nowadays, there are many resources on the internet domain, and open educational resources are there, e-books are there, e-journals are there, many national and international publishers are providing the e-resources freely. Now the question comes, which type of resources are required by the user? Because they are getting innumerable e-resources, and they are unable to find the right resources which are to be used in the e-learning. And that is the job of the librarian or the professional to provide the exact resources required by the user. So in this process, they have to go for the institutional repository and digitization. Whatever the library resources are there, the first job of the librarian is to make it digitization so that it can be provided to the user. Managing the digital resources using the software, content management software, performing as an information resource center, providing the e-resource through the social networking site, streaming media in Web 2.0, synchronous messaging, developing courseware and tagging, etc. So how to resolve? These are the problems what I told, but I'm also giving you the resolution how to resolve the issues. On seeking update in the field of technological advancement, lifelong learner, alternates in the field of library services, innovative thinking, expertise in using emerging technology in website designing, providing web-based application services to the e-learners, leadership quality in developing the professional commitment and dedicated team in the library to meet the challenges. You see, these are the so many things are going to be involved or going to be taken up by the library professionals in the 21st century, and these are the challenges for them. And moreover, they are to make liaison with the publisher, they are to convince the administrator and the other authorities of the organization in the policy change. Because in most of the universities, it is found that they are ignoring the e-resources, but the authorities, the administrator need to know the importance, and accordingly, it requires a policy change. Modernizing the library with the latest infrastructure, and maximum emphasis should be given by the institution for the development of the library infrastructure and the professional staff with technological competency. Developing willpower and change the mindset to set up the accept. This is a challenge to everybody, and everybody should accept it gladly to operate the situation. Now, these are some of my observations. In my conclusion, I would like to say that adoption of the emerging technology in library services are based on the ability of the librarians to provide the up-to-date minute and qualitative service. Skill and competency among the librarians have to become pertinent to ensure that learners, educators are provided with the qualitative services to equip with the e-learning materials and strengthen the research. Strategic planning, as I told you, must be taken up by the librarian and the professional, and accordingly, policy decision should be taken up by the authorities to meet the next requirement of the librarianship. In digital surroundings, the librarian need to act not as only the service provider, but also to act as a bridge between the digital resources and in-house and remotely located users. He is to be very creative and innovative. He must take a role of facilitator of learning, and he is a mentor, he is a trainer to the students. Whenever any problem will be there, the student will ask the librarian how to access the resources, how to use the resources like this, how to use a database, because the librarian has got the competency, the librarian has got the proficiency to operate the environment. So they need to possess the assertiveness, enthusiasm, flexibility, recognizing value of the professional networking. So in the COVID-19 pandemic environment, the professional has become more zestful and need to concentrate upon the social processes. The Adamson in 2014 pointed out that there is a need of shifting from the focusing upon the instrument to focusing upon the mission, from collection to connection, as it provides a basis for the formulating a professional role and platform that is highly relevant in the digital era. This has become pragmatic to get the profession more visible to the society. So, after discussing all the things, giving the above disclosure and my experiences, and also to suit the present COVID pandemic situation, we have to adapt to the technology, we have to adapt to the new normal situation. The normal situation was there when we are going to the library, when we are interacting with the resources, and we are interacting with the librarians and the professionals. Now, this COVID-19 has reformed the situation to a new normal situation where you have to interact with the librarian, with the resources only in a virtual mode. And this is a new normal situation, and we have to adapt to the situation. And in this situation also, we have to prove ourselves worthy and indispensable for contributing both to an inclusive society in the new normal situation and value-added academia. So these are some of my observations in the e-learning situation, what a librarian or the professional should possess. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Premraj, so
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Aaron Mishra, sir. You have been really very insightful and very informative in our presentation. Am I audible properly?
Yes,
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 sir.
yes. Please carry on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So does actually we have covered why the e-learning and has been now so popular. And one thing I would say that necessity is the mother of invention. That's what is
Right.
proved here
Very
now
right.
in this period of time. Earlier also we were having such facilities around. We were actually coming across messages in the social media about the webinars, and we have never tried for them because it was possible for us to meet physically and to move around. But when forced with the situation that actually came up after the breakout of this pandemic, COVID-19, then we realized that this is the only alternative. And then we started learning it and then implementing it in our day-to-day life. And this is the same thing happening in the educational sector as well. And you are very rightly pointed out that that everybody has to contribute to this process, and so as
Yes,
the
exactly.
librarians. The librarians need to actually develop
Yes, this is a
the
collective responsibility.
competencies
Collective responsibility.
accordingly, and yes, so they have always been doing it because we have changed from ages to ages, that we have seen that mere collectors of the knowledge bearing documents and gathering them at a place, we have come to a situation where we actually is participating in the knowledge development process. The librarians are actually participating and becoming a partner into the knowledge creation process. And Over the
Anyway, thank you, Professor Maharana, for your wonderful words. And thank you, everybody, for
thank you
joining in this
so much,
webinar
sir.
session. Thank
Sir,
you from
please
my
stay
side.
back. Please stay back.
Yes, I'll be here throughout. I'll be here throughout.
And we'll take few questions at the end.
Yes, yes.
I'll welcome the second speaker, Sri Champeswar Mishra, to speak
Yes.
on his topic. Innovation is a precondition for sustainable development of libraries, trends, best practice, and issues. I'll just speak 2-3 sentences prior to his delivery of his lecture. That everything which has been there over a period of time or being sustainable, it is only because of the innovative approaches to it. May it be technology, may it be practices, may it be whatever that we come across in our day-to-day life, sees its existence over a period of time. If there is a continuous effort of innovation, continuous effort of things, doing things in a new way. So the case is libraries also. As you all know that the General Assembly of the United Nations has come up with a set of 17 the 17 sustainable development goals, and one of them is the fourth goal, sustainable development goal, is the quality education. And
Right.
therein we are an active partner to this process, because library has always been proved to be the heart of an academic institution. So
Yes.
thereby we have a great role to play for the sustainable development goal to be achieved. So therefore, over ever thought of integrating the things together? You were going there to check the catalog and trying to find out the book. Then we are going somewhere else to find the book physically. Then we are going somewhere to get it issued. So the services were all scattered, and all were not actually integrated. But in the process we came, and then technology developments have made it possible that whatever we do, all the user services, the collection development, the resource discovery, one single platform by the use of the technology. And that is what is that has come out of a thought, innovative thought in the process. So likewise, the innovation is driven by the technology, mostly it is also driven by the culture that innovating. So with this today, this morning, Sri Champeswar Mishra to
Jayanta, am I audible? Sir,
Yeah,
am I
you are
audible?
audible.
Okay. Uh, uh, Good morning, all of you, and I'd like to thank Professor Bulu Maharana, Professor, Department of Library Information Science, plus is my guide also, and to thought to create such type of sessions like knowledge sharing session by taking all alumni, and definitely it will be a great idea which is going to be uh, boost the knowledge sharing uh, platform across the globe. It is my honor to have Professor R.M. Mishra, my teacher and today's speaker, who has deeply share the my on some fundamental on innovations, how innovation is going to shape the coming way, and also during pandemics. Also, I like to express my gratitude to Professor Let R.K. Mahapatra, Professor R.K. Raut, Professor K.C. Ponda, Professor B.K. Chaudhary for their effort to develop the department into a best one in the world and in the nations. My thanks goes to all faculty members, Dr. Savitri Maji, Dr. Bikram Berua, for their constant effort to make the department a success. I like to thank Dr. Premraj Mishra, President, Alumni Association, and all alumni members who has who have put in their all effort to to have such type of sessions which will be help for the users and the learner to gain new knowledge on librarianship in the changing context of library. I'd like to thanks all stakeholders who conduct a session which help to boost knowledge, sensitize learners, boost innovations, increase understanding among knowledge workers. Knowledge sharing has become a crucial activity in knowledge management and adopted by many organizations, especially in the developed country, for surviving in the changing landscape of librarianship. Innovation itself is a mantra, I can say, in the changing context of librarianship. Uh, the the librarian has to adopt the concept for their survive, and it is very happy for me that this is my research area, and I'm conducting I have conduct my PhD on these topics. Means organization cannot be remain statics due to the transformations in terms of social, economy, and political aspect of human beings in postmodern society. Organizations have to rethink, relook their existing working strategies and approaches to cope up with the fastest change that is happening now in libraries. Similar ideologies are applicable to all fields. I mean, you can say in institutional building, you can say in organization building, you can say is other aspects also. And since library is a part, you have to think about the new to do something new or to implement something new or to adapt something new or to embrace something new. That embrace, that adaptations or that type of implementation is called innovations that we have to do it. The library are passing through different challenges like uh, constant cutting of budgets, new technology coming like effect of technological innovations, then varied demand of users, emerging means of information technology. So all those things and are pressuring the library or to some external pressure has been coming to the library to think something new, not to be remain static or to just to do coming and just to do work and go away. No, you have to reach to the users. User will not reach to you. You have to reach the user. So to do all these things to remain vibrant in the campus, to remain vibrant in the nations, or to remain vibrant in the development of the institution, library have to think differently, and library to think differently through evidence-based innovative approach in terms of service, in terms of facilities, in terms of resource, and that thing need to be come quickly, and that thing have to come quickly, and change has to adapt with full enthusiasm and full competency without any fail. As a whole, library have to change themselves either implicitly or explicitly to survive during the crisis. Rightly, the Martels 2020 urged the librarians to think creatively and work in an innovative way to create a range of service which is uh, unthinkable, which must in 21st century if the library is going to provide a society with a value-added service and satisfying the patrons. In order to transform the library into a sustainable and high and vibrant library, creativity in innovation are the essentials and mantra for the librarians. So today my agenda is what is innovation, key trends in librarian, why innovation matter in library, pragmatic view of innovations, time dimension of innovations, evidence-based innovative practices and approach, effect of technological innovation in library, best innovative practice in our Indian cases, in innovative librarianships, and what is the role of library leaders to embrace innovations. What is the strategy you need to follow for library survival and sustainability, challenges factor in stimulating innovations, and what is the actions, what is the action you need to do to implement innovation successful in your organizations. So before that, why innovation is coming? Because there are trends, there are pressures, there are pressure from external environment, which is specific library to think differently and to work differently. So if you see it in the 2018 top trends, it is saying that transformation in publishers and vendor perspective, fake news, information literacy, collaborative approach in project management, presence of OER, learning NIT, data collections, ethical concerns, research data acquisitions, data science, demand-driven acquisitions, open access collection development policy, copyright, and digital right management. Similarly, if you see 2020 trends, it is drastically changed. Change management in time of new skill and reskill. What is our present Prime Minister is talking about? The skilling and reskillings involve integrated library management systems, learning analytics, machine learning and artificial intelligence, open access, transactions and transformations, research data science service like research data management and their ethical approach, social justice, critical librarianships and critical digital pedagogies, streaming media and student webinars. So this is the present trends. Not only this, there are a lot of trends are coming where you need to think about that, you need to embrace that, or you to look on that. But how? To do all these things, you need to think differently. You need to do something new, and that new thing I can say is the innovations we need to practice by all librarians to survive in 21st century. So this is all about the innovation. Innovation is adding something new into the systems, which is value of product, process, facilities, strategy, technology, new administrative practice, set up new services, new way of organizing the systems, and any new ideas adding to you improve the systems. Here, all these the product, process, facility, strategy, technology, and administrative practice, set up new service, and all these things. It is certainly related to our library, since library is a system, a library is a component, that all things can be incorporated for the development of the library. And that is all these things, that all things I will call as innovations. So I'm just giving a small definition of innovations. It is a multi-stage process whereby organizations transform the idea into new or improved products, service, process, in order to advance, compete, and differentiate themselves successfully in their marketplace. So this definition definitely the powerful definition given by Berge, and it definitely his concept is related to the transformations, and that transformation is called innovations. The primary innovation I have defined in 3 stages: type of innovation, stages of innovation, and characteristics of innovation. While I am talking about the type of innovations, radicals, and incremental, technicals, and administrative, and product and process. While I will talk to the important thing is whether radical innovation or incremental innovation is important. I can say the radical is totally complete changes in your organization, but incremental, you need to add whatever available in your organization. You need to add something new to develop your service. That is incremental. So if you see the entire structure out to end my presentation, I can say the incremental innovation is highly applicable to the library context, and which is given success results. Then there are different stages of innovation: generating ideas, knowledge, persuasion, decisions, implementations, confirmation, and evaluations. And the characteristics we have seen: the relative advantages, compatibilities, complexity, triability, and observability. This is some priority approach of innovations. I have just briefly given, but this topic is very high, very huge. Each concept I have gone through during my research, and every term I have tested during my research. Each term I found is very powerful for library to survive in the workplace. This is the 9 type of innovation. I can say this process, service, business models, disruptive innovation, which is highly influential because all innovation come from these things. Then breakthrough and organization, then outcome driven, incremental and product. This is the 9 type of innovations where most of things are focusing while testing the new idea in the organization for their success and challenges. So what earlier I was talking about the radicals versus incremental. So this is the difference I have given. The risk profile is high in radical and incremental is very low and medium. Horizon is called mid to long term, but incremental is short to mid term. In innovation target is process, product, service, which unprecedented performance, future new business models. Cost of future improvement in existing products, service, process, marketing, optimization of existing business models. The strategic goals create a dramatic changes that transform existing market, industry, or create new ones. Improve competitiveness within current markets, industries. What is activity specifications? Tasks are broadly defined and have low specialization. Tasks are strictly defined, highly specializations. Culture, open, extremely oriented, risk-taking, agility, speed, flexibility, experimentation, intensive collaboration, and teamwork, determined by the existing procedures and organization setups. Structures, decentralized and network, highly centralized and high level of hierarchy. So this is the difference I have given just to give a brief idea about what is radical and incremental. Because why I have given, because the entire innovation process, these two terms is very influential to adapt innovation in your organizations. So what are the most preferred innovations? I have gone through one research. It is called 70%. This 70% incremental innovation is highly adapted, and this because there is small changes required, there is low risk. But while we are going for the disruptive innovations, it is harder and higher risk and long term and new capabilities. So this is just I've given a statistic to know which is more preferable in adapting different type of innovation in your organizations. And this is the innovation process. One of the finest book written by Roberts, EM, 2003, the Division of Innovation. That book is must go. Any user, you'll get a lot of knowledge about the innovation. And the innovation process is passes through different stages: knowledge, persuasion, decisions, implementations, and confirmations. Again, all the processes are correlated to each other. So why innovation matter in library? Because your library transformation is key to survive. You have to cope up with the challenges and trends. You have to face the new threat from the external environment. You have to, because whenever you are working, your organization, your university, or your institution might have some vision, mission, or goal that you need to fulfill. You need to fulfill that goal. You need to align your innovations, align your library, you align your all service facility of library to fulfill that goals. The need of the user highly changing. Today, usually demanding X means tomorrow they are demanding Y. There is budget cost. There is in present situation in Indian cost, I can see the budget cost is totally high. Nowadays they are cutting the budget. You have to focus toward open access. You have to focus toward the free resource instead of more dependent on the spending of subscribed resource. So the diminishing budget with higher demand of user is pressuring library to be think differently. Then there is infrastructure problem is there. Patron demanding latest service, latest resource, latest tool for their research and for the teaching, learning, and research. Then emerging cutting edge technologies. Library presence and visibility is highly important. If you are staying down, if you are staying dull, then nobody will ask you. You need to be remain present. You need to remain vibrant. To remain present among the users, you need to think differently. You need to work differently. You need to think about your strategy. Availability of choices of resource, service for users, support, resource support development. This is highly important. And the new national policy has totally focused on research and developments and innovation in the higher education. Then your ROI is totally low. Then it will be questioned by the authorities. Then you need to market your products, service, and resource among the user. So these are the some factors, the minimum factor where where innovation is matter for the library. So what are the factors that produce innovations? The competitive set from the external environment, organization vision, mission, goals, inspiring shared visions and report of the future, organization support and encouragement, changing perception of the user toward the use of information, financial crisis, fundraisings, paradigm shift and application of ICT tools and service in library, changing perception on library. Library no more a physical place, it is a happening place. Then participating in collaborative style of management, encouragement from the authority to apply new service and ideas to the existing one, availability of resource and facility for testing new idea, adding a value and reputation to the organization, visible team involvement and multitasking, then open mind exploration to a market driver of innovations. So what are the key aspect and priority area for library? Survivability. The collection, you need to think about the collections, whether to keep the balance between print and digital collections, and you need to think how to manage. Then last is collection building, management, access. More important is how do you give to access. For that reason, you need to prioritize your area. Then information technology, library infrastructure and physical space, utility resource acquisition management, open access initiative, library marketing outreach, user empowerment engagement, employee engagement, workplace, library collaboration participation. This is highly important. Evidence for library leadership, library budget and fundraising. So this is the 10 dimension where I have seen this high innovation is highly important. You need to think why innovation and is highly important and significant for the library. Then what is the role of organization structure in terms of centralization, decentralization, stratifications, formalizations, how these factors are affecting. Then whether you need to follow centralization, whether you need to follow decentralization, whether you follow to stratifications, whether you follow to digital tools. So these are the factors where it is affecting the library to be innovative or to be creative. Then you need to think about your strategic planning and direction and how innovation can be done or how new thing can be implemented or how new thing can be embraced. This is key trends. Then your strategic planning and directions, the key factor for the innovation. Then library, in terms of two things I have given. The library in innovation in service research. It is service in terms of your conventional, in terms of new service. Then evidence-based innovative practice in managing libraries. So what type of practice, what type of procedure, what type of new methods, what type of new technology you are following to be innovative in the library. Then for marketing, what type of strategies, what are tools, whether is there any benefit of social media to market your library. So these are the factor, the new things, the new idea you have to think to market or outreach your library. Then whether workplace culture is affecting your innovations, if affecting within what context, what are the factors that you need to think about it. The role of what is the open access role in terms of innovations, the impact of leadership in terms of transformation leadership and transition leadership, and one more thing is the effect of technological innovation in practice, how technological innovation is shaping the library and how you need to adapt. So this is the major area I have focused and where you need to think to adapt innovation in our library. So while talking the organization structure, I have already talked before that. The centralization, decentralization, organization complexity, formalization, employee participation, workplace autonomy, predefined and rigid rules, instabilities and turbulence in the external environment, and the diversification. These are the factors which is affecting organization structures. You need to think how to keep balance between all these factors for success of innovations. Then what are the value-added service and resource available for new innovation things, like how to facilitate e-resource, what are the roles of virtual reference service, web-based library instruction sessions, mobile library, IAR, library gaming, hacker or makerspacer like 3D printers, Action Librarian, authentication of campus access using mobile apps for library service, self-check-in kiosks and checkout box, using of smart board technology, library subject guides, research and citation management support to the researcher like faculty, students, or those who are stakeholders of the universities. Then what is the social media implementation of social media for the development of for the marketing of your library service, then adding virtual library tour, featuring library portal, adding how do you feature in library portal, installation of laptop e-reader checkpoint, adoption of QR codes, digital library service, use of API, adding of RSS service, Wikipedia, installation of laptop e-reader checkpoint, digital sign-in instead of print signage. During pandemic, accepting payment from user is very difficult. So in that case, accepting payment through online systems is highly recommended. Then different type of web analytic tool will be able to track your using of resource, RFID tracking systems, online resource services. There are a lot of things we need to think on innovation perspective. I'm talking about then one of the most important concepts is technological innovation, which is highly required for library survival. There is a lot of factors are there, like library presence in the virtual environment, like Second Life, social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or anything. Creation of web-based multimedia like audio, video, instruction session. Instead of orienting user physically, you can create your entire library instruction program through audio videos, and you can put your websites. Gamifications or gamings, use of hackerspace, makerspace. I already implemented in our Indian library that I'm going to show you in my slide. And authentication, authorization systems, the design and use of mobile library service, library app, responsive mobile library websites, web scale discovery service, open source content management systems, use of QR codes, making library of mobile device to library patterns, publications and discovery of faculty of scholars like IRs, adoption and integration of RSS feed, blog, wiki, library websites, adapting patron-driven acquisition platform for physical monographs and ebooks, use of RFID technology, digital signage, use of online e-commerce systems, asset payments, use of smartboard technology. So these are some new technological innovations. There are a lot of things are coming, but I have just given some very few. Where this can be effective for any library to survive during the crisis or to provide the best service to the users. There is what are the evidence-based practice for library marketing, like link to the online resource service, create opinion poll survey through Google, microblogging, widget, then search engine optimizations, immersive marketing, web advertising, affiliate advertising, sponsorships, cross branding, then browser flyers, first of all, on bookmark, library guides, data signage, conference, seminar, workshop, link to online resource service, opinion polls, microblogging, search engine auto. This is there is some reputations, and so this is the new area where you can market your library through evidence-based innovative ways. Then effect of social media in library marketing outreach. So why social media is important in innovations? Like you can promote your share about library events, promote library service, allied supports, promote collections resource, provide new acquisitions and letters available to users, disseminate research outputs, post update on the library innovations, keep connecting with the academic fraternity, posting information on library orientation programs, connect user beyond the library in outreach, connect with the executive program participant like all IMs are doing, obtain complaint, suggestion, feedback of users, share event pictures, invite follower comments, share live tips. So this is the area, some area where social media can be helpful for the library professionals. Please, okay. The effect of evidence-based innovation, what are the traits? So I am talking about the traits like employee elements, constructive behavior, psychological safety, open-mindedness, interpersonal relationship, reward recognition, and workforce autonomy. This is the traits where librarians have to see which trait is suitable for them to stimulate innovations. Because the moment you are pressuring, the moment you are very conservative, the moment you are very not supportive, you are not giving autonomy to your staff, to your colleague, then it is very difficult to test, very difficult to get very difficult to test new ideas, very difficult to get very difficult to engage the staff to implement new ideas. So you need to think all these factors. Which factor is suitable for the workplace? So employee engagement is highly essential for innovations. So this is some cases I have given. Like in shortly, you can visit IM Ahmedabad site, like Become Sarabhai Library site. How they have designed? They have given a lot of services there. They have given a lot of new features like here you can say these thematic book display, virtual realities, then Tinker Space 3Ds. So there are a lot of things they are implement. There are new things they have implemented, which is highly relevant to innovation. I am requesting all of users to go and visit their site. You can get a lot of stuff on that because they are very much innovative. They are providing a lot of things very innovative way. Unfortunately, we have lose the leader, Dr. H. Anil Kumar, but his effort and his thinking was highly relevant in the present context. And yes, what we are thinking now, he has already thought before, and he's implemented all these things. And even I have interacted him during my IIM Bangalore presentations. So he has given a new foundation to the library in terms of innovations, service, facilities, and resource to the user of IIM Ahmedabad. So you can visit this site. This is how they have implemented the information about the Tinker Space of 3D printers. This is about the how virtual reality work in library. This is one of the subject guide I have taken from IIM Kozhikode. This is the central library page of IIT Kharagpur, where they have show one scan the QR code to visit library OPA. So this is just my thinking to how in the future they are adding to attract the user or to support the users. So this is all things are happening due to attract the user, to help the user for their teaching, learning, and research. This is how leadership helping for innovation. So there is the importance of two kind of leadership. There is transactional leadership and transformational leadership. Where in my entire research I have found the transformational leadership is highly required for library innovation. So instead of going details, I have just given a slides. So I only prefer to go for transformational leadership, where the supporting proactive, open-mindedness, a lot of factors which is stimulating innovations is supported by transformational leadership. So I prefer to go on transformational leadership. So what are the traits we require to be creative and innovative? Like a leader of library, to implement innovation, he need to be visionary, to create room for innovative and creative, committed to vision and mission by applying innovative and creative idea, competent to handle innovative resource and service, confident and low anxiety to accomplish innovative strategy and goal, consistency is the result of adopting and implementing creative and innovative idea, openness and receptive to explore a new idea, risk tolerance in taking the risks and getting out of it successfully, delegative in giving chance to other employee to take decisions, proactive leadership by increasing positive results and encourage fun in the workplace, determined and focus oriented toward fulfill the mission, vision, objective of the organizations, professionally qualified to take forward the creative idea and implement in the workplace, very intelligent enough to understand the complex problems and solve it by innovative way, self-driven to accomplish the tasks, work, trustworthy, inspire and motivate for other employee. Because without such thing you cannot adopt or cannot embrace innovation. So you need to trust your staff. You need to very much communicating. You should be more open-mindedness. You should not be conservative. Then you should be technically competent. So any new technology coming, you should definitely encourage your staff. Yeah, this technology coming to for the benefit of the user. We can implement it in our library through team building or through proper consistency or proper competent. Then you should have a little bit domain expertise to effectively communicate the innovation among the staff. So what are the factors that discourage innovations? Definitely lack of budget. But in my research, I found budget is hardly matter. You need to be creative and innovative. When the idea is there, you can implement it. Then limited employee involvement. Sometimes employees are not, staff are not involved, because where sometimes they are because there may be too much centralization, too much rigidity in rules, too much pushing the staff to what to do or what to know, too much interference among the staff, what to do, what not to do. Let them work independently. Just give them chance. Just observe them what they are doing. Lack of involvement and negative attitude of staff, lack of infrastructure and which is that are outdated, restriction imposed by top management. Sometimes the top management may restrict you to not to do such work, but you need to balance it. lack of creative and innovative skill among staff, lack of qualified trained staff, extensive use of procedure, rules, and manuals. Because in innovation, it is found very as a negative component. The high, the it is there is highly specialized rules, highly rigidity rules. It will create problem for uh, the staff to embrace idea, to implement new idea. Lack of time to adapt innovative idea, it is hardly matter. Lack of leadership to adapt innovative ideas, definitely leadership is highly required to be innovate to implement innovation. The workplace should be suitable for employee to be creative and innovative. There should be vision mission. There should be the leader should be very visionary. There you should have some IT knowledge. You should sometimes the low reputation of the library also harm for innovation. Centralized decision making, what I already told you, is a discouraging factor for innovations, and highly formalized process also discouraging factor for the innovations. These are some suggestive framework I have given. Just do it. Set novelty in designs. Set goal and objective. Identify the problems and opportunities. Seek opportunity and find what you love to do. So these are the factors suggestive framework to be success in innovations. So what are the action you need to taken? What is the how will you implement the innovations in your uh, workplace? So be first is be a open mind. Don't be so conservative. Set the strategy as per as per the vision, mission, and goal of the organization. Involve the relevant stakeholder of the organizations who will help for to adapt innovations and successfully deliver it for the users. Embrace these changes and respect institutional leads. Adopt capacity building to skill and reskill staff. Expand collaboration. Develop partnership among library network both in national and international level. Promote awareness, outreach, and community engagement programs on adapting innovations. Conduct regular information needs studies of user. Set the goal of innovation as desired. Embrace, adapt technological innovations. Reward and recognize the employee in embracing and practicing innovation in workplace. Create a space for employee to embrace and test new ideas, and strongly support that to adapt the ideas. Keep some provision of budget to support new ideas or to implement new idea to test new idea for the betterment of the service and the user. Develop a best, I can say, the conducive workplace or creative workplace to and provide them autonomy to make innovation success. Avoid too much centralization that I have already spoke to you. And if the workplace is highly centralized, highly suffocated, so it will be very difficult for this staff to be think on that, and because they have to follow a lot of rules and regulations, so sometimes they may feel discouraged. So you should avoid such type of centralizations. Have proper strategy and planning to adapt and implement innovation. Develop a transformational leadership approach support innovation. And yes, you need to create a forum, innovation forum, library innovation forum, to share and discuss new and innovative idea and adapt in the right way. Be involved in decision making and policy implementation on innovation in higher education institutions adopted by state and central agencies. So summing up, the library have to change without be static to survive and thrive in 21st century. Change have to happen now without delay to protect the library survivabilities. Embrace and adapt and adopt the changes quickly to remain vibrant in the changing landscape of librarianship. Adopt evidence-based innovative practice in terms of service, resource, facility, and stay vibrant among the users. Of course, library is the leader, but have to possess a dynamic, a visionary, and transformational leadership approach to effectively adapt and implement innovation for the betterment of the library. So this is all about the innovation. Just I give the brief idea. I have gone through a lot of things during my research. I have tested each parameters, and you need to think on that. You need to adapt the parameters and work on that. And after that, you can easily have the library really help the institution to be a vibrant in national and international level. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Premraj sir, please unmute your mic, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Champeswar Mishra, for a nice presentation. Dr. Mishra, Champeswar Mishra, given all his gratitude to the department, and being in LIS profession, he's shown both his skill and competency in his presentation today. He actually complement the lecture delivered by Professor R.N. Mishra, and he explained about the practices followed by the librarians and fulfilling the desired requirement of the users. He explained that what, why, and how of the innovation. So it is very much important in LIS profession. The radical versus instrumental innovation was very categorically explained. The the incremental innovation, which is 70%, is more preferred as compared to other two of two of its two counterpart. Innovation is fulfilling the user demand through library services with resource constraint like limited budget. So this is how to overcome from this constraint is explained by Dr. Champeswar. 10 dimensions of innovation one can learn from the lecture delivered by him. Role of open source in innovation, value-added innovative services and resources of libraries are well explained in his lecture. Sustainability is key for any development. We learn the technological innovation as a required factor for the library sustainability. So I thank Dr. Champeswar Mishra for giving his quality time and presenting various aspects of innovation in LIS profession in front of our audience. So there is some network issue at the side of our mentor Professor Bulu Maharana. So just I will propose the vote of thanks. Before that, I request Jayant to highlight some questions so that our experts can give their response.
So the question comes from Sanat Kumar Behera, that how librarian can be a teacher, especially in enhancing the teaching skill. Now you see, the teachers in the classroom, they used to provide or they used to impart the teaching only. But the practical utility, the practical viability, or the real sense of the teaching comes from the library. The librarian has to equip himself with the professional quality, with the technological quality, so that in case of any problem he comes or he faces in getting the resources or the services, the librarian will be the teacher all the time. The teacher in the classroom, they used to impart it, definitely. But in the practical field, the librarian or the professional having the competency is the teacher for the student. They all the time are with the teachers, and even if you are going for the e-learning platform, then also the the user will ask the librarian or the professionals who are imparting the services to reduce the problem or to get rid of the problem that he is encountering while accessing the resources. Therefore, the librarian job and the teaching job, they are most analogous to each other. They are managing in the department, and also the library is also a department. But the only difference is that the library is under the administrative control and the department is under the academic control. This is the only difference, and the librarians are also equally being treated as a teacher, and they are the real teacher in the practical sense of the term.
Sir, one more question for Champeswar sir. Sir, please go through the question.
Okay. So yes, that is there are questions from Dr. Susan Pandita, and yes, definitely they are good questions. There is pandemic. There is what is the 5 innovative way for all kind of library in this pandemic? Yes, the pandemic situation has crippled the library right now. So there is a lot of way you can get out of it. I can say first. You need to one of the I can say the remote X, the best platform where you can provide your service to the end user, because there is no need to come to your library. You need to set up your remote X. You don't need to set up all your electronic education service and through the remote X, and you can provide the credentials to the end user where they can access the library. Second, if you're stopping to library to user to come to library to get the books, you can try some the like I can say like the suppose you want to provide the print books, so there are some limitations in the counters where with keeping all social distancing, you can provide the books. Although most of universities right now they have closed, but you have the same. Then you can make more you can suppose if somebody wants the articles, so you can start article delivery service through online to the end users. Fourth, you can try suppose if a user want to come to library to learn or read, you can create separate spaces like what we have created. We have created some separate spaces for the user who is highly needed to come. They can sit there and they can easily read. Where some limited staff will be there and they will support. So these are some area. There's some strategy, new strategy where you can follow. So I can say strongly recommend to go for remote access at the time.
So one thing I would like to supplement to Dr. Champeswar Mishra with the question that have been put by Dr. Patil. You see, now in this pandemic situation, we are coming across with so many problems, and physical problem, especially when the libraries are being closed down. And if it is being closed, only some minimum staffs are there just to manage the library, and no students are allowed to go to the library. In such a situation, how can you expect a person will go to the library and get the book when there is a shutdown, lockdown system all the time primarily? So the best answer in this that the pandemic has taught us to be more digital, and rather we can go for from this day onwards, we can go for the digitization process, and you never know what will happen in the future. Therefore, to meet any eventuality, we have to get ourselves prepared, and we have to provide the resources electronically, and let it be through the digitization process. We can make a database, and whenever any resources or any approach will come from the user, they can provide it through their email or through WhatsApp or through any, I to say, any technology. No problem is there. So this is a lesson that has been taught from the pandemic, and we have to adapt to the situation. What is going to be in future, nobody knows. Thank you.
Sir, Champeswar sir, one more question for you, sir.
Yes. What is the practice? Thank you, Sanat, and you have raised excellent questions. What are the practice you are witnessing in the Northeast libraries, especially in research intensive service? Yeah, definitely. I think Professor Arvind Mishra sir is there, and he is the teacher. You can research area. Definitely, we are witnessing a lot of things on research like right now. So we have started the RDM service, research data management service. So witnessing is definitely here. There is lot of things is there. We are, I think, sir. I am just these questions. Since Ravi sir is best, he's a teacher. Since I'm the library professor, so I'm requesting sir to answer the questions.
So
And
one thing, thank you, Dr. Champeswar, with regard to Sanat's question about the practices that are being followed in Northeast libraries, I'm to say Northeast university libraries. So you see, the efforts are going on. And you know very well that all the time, the infrastructure are also equally very good compared to the other areas because it's being centrally funded. And but the thing is that just you have to create some innovative idea. And nowadays they are providing the resources through many using different type of technology, and they are providing the as I told you, the digitized books. And when you go to the Northeastern Hill University, Nehu, they have prepared in so nicely that the backlogs or the back this thing, your resources, like your PhD thesis, MPhil thesis, and the other documents, the textbooks are also all digitized, and they are giving access to the clientele. Of course, they are not giving it free of cost on internet domain, but the users of that Nehu or the students and research scholars and teachers of Nehu are getting access 100% digitally to the library. And that's why I'm telling you, we have to get ourselves equipped to manage any eventuality, whatever will come to us. And that in that way, they are getting the services from the Northeast. And other universities are also taking care of making the same procedure, same way to provide the resources so that the academic work should not hamper. It will go on. Research will go on in spite of all odds and evils. It is a disruptive, I'm to say, situation that we are encountering with it. This COVID-19 has already taught us, and we have to manage the situation. We have to adapt the situation. We have to accept its situation in a challenging way and provide the services in using the different technology by creating your database, by creating your digitization process, by going by this content management softwares, content management, resources of the library. Everything can be accommodated in one domain, and the services can be imparted both physically and electronically. When you are coming across with any electronic domain or any situation like this COVID pandemic, then the electronic resources will come for the rescue to enhance your learning procedure. And when any normal situation, now the normal situation I'm telling you is very difficult to provide, to come, and you cannot go to the same way that you are going before 1 year or 2 years, going to library, getting the resources, this and that. You have to make the situation in a very competitive way. That is my feeling with the library, not just libraries.
Sir, Champeswar sir, one more question for you, sir.
okay, Ranjan sir. Okay, thank you, Ranjan bhai,
Yeah,
my
so
senior. So his question is how innovation is measured in library and how benchmarking contribute to innovation. Definitely, in my research, I have put benchmarking is one of the components. Then benchmarking is to compare different systems, different ideas, different steps, different planning, different strategies in library. So each step, I have already described 5 steps of innovation that you might have you might have gone through my previous presentations. So each step, suppose if I have implemented new things, I have given new service in library. Suppose I am giving remote access or anything in my library, or I am giving document delivery service in my library. So in the entire year, how many service I have attended, how much time I have taken to provide service to the users. So there is a lot of ways. The feedback systems is there. Then your your feedback system is there. You can then your return of investments is there. So there is in benchmarking there are a lot of parameters. What I have did my thesis, I have tested each parameters, and you need to compare each component. Like suppose you are something you have done in your cybersecurity counter, something you have done in your in electric resource service, something you have done to remote access service, something you have done in uh, uh, in DNA of a good library portal. You need to benchmark it. You need to compare the portals. You need to get feedback from the user. Then you need to evaluate the gap, the all process, the of the 5 stages what I have discussed in the innovations. You need to evaluate each component. Then accordingly, keep you can find key what the higher value you have got, what is the lower value you have got. So you guys benchmark. You need to benchmark each component. You need to benchmark each each component of service what you are providing by different type of like user statistics is there. You can compare the entire resource what I have provided. So I have given 100 open access service which is helpful for the users, and so within entire year how much what are the service and how much time they have spent, and what are service they have properly utilized for their research teaching learning development. So there are category like user statistics there, then user analytics service there. So these are the technique you need to uh, evaluate using benchmark approach.
Sir, one more question. How can school convert into digital library?
You see, how can school library? You were talking about the school library, no? But the school library, to make a digital library, you require the necessary infrastructure. First thing. Second thing, there should be a very competent person who can handle the digital software. Third thing is that the target audience, who are the target audience, because the students are the target audience, whether they are able to accept the digital library platform or not, the library. Fourth thing is that whether your institution, whether your school can provide the adequate help and the professional to recruit, to handle the resources. Then what are the digitization process? Because it's not by getting one scanning machine or by going for one scanner, you can go for the digital. The digital process, you are going to think in a bigger way, because it's not a one-time investment, rather it's an all-time investment, and the investment must reciprocate to the services that you are providing to the users community. So initially, I'm telling you, there are many open source softwares are there, and also the content management softwares are there. You can go for the digital library, and for the basic things, the immediate requirements, the infrastructure, the softwares you have to know about the Koha. For example, Koha. Whenever you are going to implement the Koha, whether you are going to implement for your house or you are going for a cloud based. So in that way, you have to think, you have to first judge yourself how far I am able to provide or the to say develop the digital library, and who will be my target audience. Whether I am going to be visible on internet, then if it is so, then you can go for a cloud based. And if you are visible only to the house, only to the school, then I'm to say install the software, because it requires a Linux system. Whether the system, I'm to say, the system can allow you to run that software or not. So minimum technical things are required to operate the digital library in the school, and this is also not so difficult anyway. If you are having some technical bent of mind with regard to software, then you can use the open source software, and you can make the school library a digital library. Not fully digital, I'm telling you, you are going to make a hybrid system, because the target audience is the students, the small students who may not be used to the digital forum all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your beautiful explanation. Premraj sir, I have gone through the all chat box comments. Um, the participants are appreciated the presentation of Professor R.N. Mishra sir and Champeswar Mishra sir, and writing more compliments to both the participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jayanta. And I would just want to propose the vote of thanks. I thank both our resource persons on behalf of Department of Library Information Science and Alumni Associations. Both the lectures were very informative. I learned many things personally. I hope our audience also learned from that. Professor R.N. Mishra, sir, he started by giving his gratitude to all our teachers and organizers. Being in teaching profession for several years, Professor Mishra, sir, explained how students are learning nowadays in India. It was very convincing to get knowledge from an expert of the area. In COVID pandemic situations, how the users are getting benefit of blended learning, digital learning, and online learning, which is all comprises of e-learning. He explained beautifully. Professor Mishra given many statistics related to e-learning in India that enlightens the audience. He explained about initiative taken by the different states in India. A new cooperative learning need digital literacy and correlated both ways. The graphical user interface metaphor to distribute cognitive knowledge is very important. The most important part is the differentiation of skill and competency. That means the knowledge acquired and its applicability in field. Challenging features in future of librarians. Lifelong learners should be adopted to cope up with the challenges. E-resources is needed of the hour to keep our library more relevant and librarian more relevant. Librarians are need to convince the administrators for future course of action. Librarians should be more innovative nowadays, and they should prove their skills. Libraries' role should be more as facilitator to learning, which is very much required at this point of time. So I thank you, Professor Mishra sir, for giving your valuable time and enlightened us with. I hope all our audience got the valuable knowledge from you and that you have acquired with more than 33 decades of time. I have already briefed about the lecture by Dr. Champeswar. So I thank you for spending your valuable time today in online session and enlighten all our users about the innovation in LIS profession. Thank you, Dr. Champeswar Mishra.
Thank you.
I thank our mentor, Professor Bulu Maharana, who is the architecture of this lecture series. I thank Dr. Savitri Maji for introducing our resource persons and welcoming them. I thank Mr. Jayant, who is a self-motivated person to run the show. I thank all our viewers joined through YouTube, actively participated and put their questions, and our resource persons well explained those questions. So, on behalf of the department and the Alumni Association, I thank all of you. We are at the end of the session, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.